Welcome to Inside the Summit League. It was a great opening weekend of league play in men's and women's basketball, and we start with the men and two of the league heavyweights going at it right away in Fort Wayne. North Dakota State is the favorite to win the league this year, but Fort Wayne has come out with a fury at home in its first two games of the league season. Pierre Bland with a couple of layups to get Fort Wayne out to the early lead, and then Louis Jacobo popped a couple of jump shots. He had 20. And Fort Wayne led by 15 in the first half. They led by 7 at halftime. Second half, off the scramble to get it to Steve Forbes. He had 14, and the Dons still up by 7. Lawrence Alexander had a three-point play here with about 5 minutes left to cut the lead to 3, but the Bison did not get any closer than that. Marshall Bjorklund led North Dakota State with 19. Trayvon Wright had 15 for NDSU, but Fort Wayne went 12 for 12 at the free throw line in the last 3 minutes, and they win it 82-71.
You know, it gives us a great amount of confidence, but you know, it's one win. Doesn't mean anything. We could lose 13 straight right now, or right after this game. So we can't let this win be the highlight of our season. We win this game. We get patted on the back, but then we move from here.
The other game to open league play on Thursday was South Dakota State at IUPUI. The Rock Valley Rocket was hot early on. Jordan Dykstra had 26 to lead South Dakota State. But IUPUI had the lead for the first 8 minutes of the game. Donovan Gibbs throws down there. The Jags are up early. Dykstra again, though, strong to the right hand, and the Jacks take the lead at 18-16. And then it got fancy. Ian Childs, very nice. He had 21 to lead the Jags. And the Jacks, though, they come back with Jake Biddle coming off the steal. Fancy to Cody Larson. Larson had 22 for South Dakota State, so they get 26 from Dykstra as well. And IUPUI got close with 3 minutes to play, but the Jacks close it out with a 13-0 run and win it by 16. Everybody got into action on Saturday. Denver in its first Summer League game at South Dakota. Brandon Boss for 3. The Coyotes only took 8 threes, but they didn't need a whole lot of them because Trevor Gruce was tearing it up. He had 16 in the first half, 19 in the game. Great move by Trey Norris, scooping it in. Brett Olson comes back for Denver. He had 22, 13 of those in the first half to keep them close. But South Dakota led 34-31 at the break. Tyler Flack had a couple of jumpers in that dunk to give USD a 9-point lead with about 13 minutes to play. Denver threw some pressure on. Jalen Love and the Pioneers get within 5 late in the game, but Eric Robertson comes flying in. The Yotes close it out, and they win by 5, 59-54. Western Illinois is the defending regular season co-champion, opening up at home against Omaha. Big game for John Karhoff. He had 25 points and 8 rebounds for Omaha. Western Illinois scrapping for the steal here. They get it ahead to Adam Link for 2. He had 13. Garrett Covington led Western Illinois with 17 in this one. Each team had a 12-point lead in the game, but they ended up tied at the end of regulation. Omaha, the steal here, Omaha led by 12 with 10 minutes to go in the second half. But with 11 seconds to play, Remy Roberts-Burnett hits to tie it at 61, sends it to overtime. Western scored the first 6 points in overtime, but Omaha comes back here with Marcus Tyus to get within 2. Tyus had 15, but Western goes on a 10-0 run. Tate Stensgaard had 12 points and 11 rebounds, and Western wins it in overtime, 79-72. Back in Indianapolis on Saturday, North Dakota State in town. Bison stinging a little bit after the loss to Fort Wayne. Marcellus Barksdale had 14 for the Jags. And behold, Trayvon Wright. 24 for him, a career high for Trayvon Wright. He made 10 of 14 shots from the field. Ian Childs got some moves too, spin and in. He had 8 points though, about 9 below his season average in this game. And NDSU, meanwhile, continues to lead the nation in shooting. Mike Felt made 3 threes. Marshall Bjorklund had 12 points and 3 assists. One of them here to Taylor Braun. Braun had 16 points and 8 rebounds. And Trayvon Wright went on a little personal 9-0 run of his own in the second half. And the Bison win big in Indianapolis, 87-64. And the only 2-0 team after the first weekend of league play is Fort Wayne. The Dons took out the Jacks on Saturday. Joe Edwards for 2. Louis Jacobo poured in 24, and it was 20 against NDSU. He is the Summit League Player of the Week. Jacobo had 15 in the first half, and Fort Wayne led 44-42 at the break. Good weekend as well for Jordan Dykstra at 26 at IUPUI, 18 here against Fort Wayne, and the Jacks keep it tight in the second half. SDSU had a brief lead on a dunk by Cody Larson with about 13 minutes to play. Braden Carlson, good game for him as well, career high 24 for South Dakota State. But Fort Wayne beat the Jacks in the paint. They beat them on the offensive glass, and in the end, they just beat them 82-75. Well, South Dakota State had won 8 straight in that series against Fort Wayne, but the Dons get them this time. And take a look at the standings with Fort Wayne on top, Western Illinois and South Dakota with those wins on the opening weekend. Remember, Fort Wayne was picked by the coaches and the media to finish 6th this year. We'll see how things hold up. And we will talk about the games from the opening weekend and the games to come this weekend with our college basketball brainiac, Brad Newitt, after this.
This isn't an epic sports commercial.
There's no Hollywood director.
There's no $1 million budget.
There's no slow motion.
Or stadiums filled with crowds.
It's just us.
Us.
Real athletes.
Real athletes.
We want to get better, get stronger,
and make the starting lineup. Be healthy and active.
And this is where we'll do it.
The Sanford Sports Complex, a game-changing destination. Learn more at sanfordsports.com.
Minutes east of Sioux Falls stands Grand Falls Casino Resort. A casino in a brand new way, where you can turn an evening into a winning night out. Spin a day off into a day of play. Who says life next door shouldn't be grand? Get tickets now for Nicholas David, former contestant on The Voice, performing January 18th at 8 p.m. Grand Falls Casino Resort, a brand new way to eat, play, and stay.
Inside the Summit League is brought to you by Sanford Health, Grand Falls Casino, and Dakota Land Honda. Welcome back, and joined now by our college basketball analyst, Brad Newitt. And Newitt, first question is, who's been saying for like the last 3 months that the Fort Wayne men were going to be really good this year?
3 months? I don't think it was anyone in this room, was it?
It's been a while,
Has
yes.
it really been? Well,
2 games in, they're pretty good.
They
so
are
far,
pretty good. They got 2 huge wins at home this week. You knock off South Dakota State and North Dakota State, 2 of the top teams in the league coming in. And Fort Wayne's kind of carried some of that momentum that they had at the end of the year. They were playing really well in the Summit League tournament, kind of hitting their stride, and they've just carried that on to this season.
All right, North Dakota State, one of the teams that Fort Wayne beat on the opening weekend. They're still number 45 in the RPI rankings. Very good overall record, but are the Bison still the pick to win the men's regular season?
They are. I mean, their non-conference wins and what they did in the non-con definitely validates that. I think a bit of a surprise to a lot of people, though, that they did lose at Fort Wayne this weekend. But that's a place that's starting to look like not many people are going to go into and win. And so the league title definitely not lost in the first week of the season for anybody, and North Dakota State still has a great opportunity.
And as we get through the season, if you're a top-tier team, if you're in the top 5 in the standings and you win at home, that's not going to be an upset no matter who you're playing, is it?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think that's parity in the league, and that's what we're going to see. And we saw in that first weekend how hard it was to win on the road for almost everybody.
All right. Are you surprised by South Dakota's win? They were at home. South Dakota's win over Denver.
A little bit. I thought Denver was a team that was gaining some momentum coming into the conference season here in their last non-conference games, and USD had been a team that had been struggling. And, you know, looking at those two kind of matching up against each other, I thought Denver had some advantages. But USD shot the ball so well, something they've struggled with this year. They shoot 56%. Big win for them at home.
And the Coyotes had a lead and hung on to it, something they haven't done much in the pre-conference season, but they do win against Denver. And then Omaha had Western Illinois down by 10 in the second half, but the Leathernecks come back and win that one in overtime.
Showed a lot of guts down the stretch, made huge plays in the last couple minutes of that game to pull out the win. And if you're Omaha, that one stings a little bit because they really controlled that game for about 38 minutes, and it was the last couple minutes of the regulation, and then in the overtime, they never really got any traction going. And big win for Western Illinois to hold serve on their home floor.
All right, Omaha stays on the road. Here's the men's schedule this week on Thursday. Omaha at North Dakota State. Western Illinois will be at South Dakota State. IUPUI and Fort Wayne on the road this weekend at South Dakota and at Denver. The best men's game this week in your mind?
Very intrigued by Omaha's road swing.
Yeah.
Let's just put it that way. Having to go to Fargo and Brookings, and that's a tough road trip for everybody. We'll get to really see again what the Mavericks are made out of here going on the road to two very hostile environments.
And I think Fort Wayne at Denver is very intriguing. See if Fort Wayne can go on the road. And Denver, they were picked in the top 3 in the league, and we'll see if how they come out at home after losing against South Dakota.
Yeah, that's another big test for them and see what they can do, like you said, on the road, and can they back up what they did last weekend.
All right, great opening weekend on the men's side, and up next we'll talk about the women. A big weekend for Amanda Hyde at Fort Wayne, a high-scoring double overtime shootout in Fargo, and a close one between the Jacks and the Jaguars in Brookings.
Since 1982, the Summit League has been achieving excellence. Beyond providing a quality education to more than 120,000 students, the league continues to strengthen its reputation of being nationally competitive in athletics. Today, more than 3,000 elite student athletes at 8 institutions embody the vision, purpose, and innovation the Summit League represents. These young men and women are reaching for the summit in both athletic and academic endeavors.
Minutes east of Sioux Falls stands Grand Falls Casino Resort. A casino in a grand new way, where you can turn an evening into a winning night out. It's the Grand Falls Casino Resort $500,000 giveaway. Yeah, $500,000. Between now and March 30th, play your favorite games to earn entries. Entries are good for all 13 drawings. Then, be here for the Sunday afternoon drawings for your chance at $500,000. Grand Falls Casino Resort, a grand new way to eat, play, and stay.
The great thing about snowboarding is the adventure. All day long, you're finding different ways of doing different things, and it's never the same. I don't mind snowboarding alone, but if you've got your friends up there on the mountain and you guys can all cruise down together, it's a really, really fun time. Snowboarding has been really fun and really rewarding for me, and I want it to be fun and rewarding for my customers as well. I'm Lindsay McKinstry, and I'm one of the snowboard experts at Shields.
Inside the Summit League is brought to you by Sanford Health, Grand Falls Casino, and Dakota Land Honda. All right, now to women's hoops, and Denver rises up in the opening weekend. It takes out South Dakota. Western Illinois looked very good in their first outing of the year in the Summit League play, and South Dakota State had kind of a weird weekend sweep to get things started. Well, South Dakota State has not lost a game at home since last year when IUPUI beat them. But the Jacks and the Jaguars get together again at Frost Arena on Thursday. Tara Heiser came off the bench to give the Jacks a jump start with a pair of three-pointers. And then Heiser to Megan Stewart, and the Jackrabbits out to an early 4-point lead. South Dakota extended that lead to 12 in the first half, and IUPUI went cold, went about 12 minutes without making a field goal. Navina Markovic had some foul trouble, but she came in to hit a three to make it a 9-point South Dakota State lead at the half. De'Ara Goss scored 7 straight points as the Jags came back in the second half. 21 points for Goss in this game, and the IUPUI pressure paid off. The Jags tied at 46 on a bucket here by Shanika Maddox with just over 5 minutes to play, but the Jackrabbits would come back. After a little stern talking to, they go on a 9-2 run, including an incredible hoop here by Megan Watashik, and SDSU wins it by 6. Lots of points and some bonus basketball in Fargo on Thursday night. NDSU hosting Fort Wayne. Brooke Lamar has led the Bison in scoring so far. She had 12 in this game. 2 players had at least 30 in this one. Amanda Hyde was one of them. She had 14 in the first half. Morena Whittle was the other that went crazy. 34 points, 15 rebounds for Whittle. Both season highs for her, but Hyde matched her with 35. Not quite her season high, but she made some big shots late. Liz Keener right here puts NDSU ahead by 1. Whittle made a free throw to put the Bison up by 2, but Hyde made 2 free throws at the end of regulation to send it into overtime. She hit a 3 here at the end of the first overtime again, and Fort Wayne wins in double overtime, 98-89 over the Bison. Was not quite as close in Omaha on Saturday afternoon between the Mavs and Western Illinois. Ashley Luke was efficient and proficient, 10 of 16 from the field, 8 of 8 from the free throw line. Erica House let it fly. She had 16 for Omaha. Michaela Shaw led Omaha with 17. Felicia Anderson here came off the bench with 9. But Western got 28 points and 12 rebounds from Ashley Luke. Western led it by 10 at halftime. Rebecca Henriksen leads the league in assists right now. She is fast, too. Blows by everybody. She had 7 points and 6 assists. The Leathernecks made 11 threes, a couple by Michelle Maher, and Western is well-rounded. They beat Omaha 84-62. Back to Fargo on Saturday. NDSU coming off that double overtime loss. IUPUI looking to get even in league play. Caleb Becken with 2, but the Bison already down by 11 early in the game. Kiera Goss on the pull-up. And IUPUI got out to a 16-point lead at halftime. And the Jags led start to finish. Markovic had 7 points, 6 rebounds. Shanika Maddox came off the bench, went 5 for 5 from the field. She had 10 points. Michael Rogers was 6 of 7 from the field. She led IUPUI with 16. IUPUI had never beaten NDSU in Fargo until this one. Jags take it 71-46. Back to Brookings on Saturday for one of the stranger starts to a ball game this season. Fort Wayne came out smoking. Amanda Hyde for 3, and Fort Wayne is up 8-0. Hyde would hit 3 quick threes. She had 26 points in the game. Fort Wayne is up 14-0 in the first 6 minutes of the game. But SDSU comes back and scores the next 14. Tara Heiser with another big boost off the bench for the Jackrabbits. She had 11 in this one. And the Jacks come from 14 down to tie it at 14. SDSU would go on another 12-0 run in the first half. Carrie Young into the lane with 2 of her 18. And after being down 14-0, the Jacks come back and lead 32-25 at halftime. And they pour it on from there. They're led by as many as 27 in the second half. They get 54 points from the bench. And the Jacks win it by 17. And finish it up with the second highest scoring game of the weekend, South Dakota at Denver. Huge game for Denver's Teresa Worth. She had not scored more than 20 in a game this year, but she did in this one. Morgan Van Riper Rose, meanwhile, was knocking down 3. She made 6 of them. 22 in the game for Van Riper Rose. Denver shot at 52% for the game, but USD stayed right with it. Rachel Contreras had 21 for USD, 14 of those coming in the first half. And then for the Coyotes, Taya He-Miller coming up with the loose ball here. She will take it and make it, and 1. 11 in the game for He-Miller, but Worth was the story for Denver. A shake and a fake and a take and a make for her. She had 26 points. Denver up by 4 at halftime. Second half, Nicole Seekamp still coming back from that injury. 2 of her 13 here, and the Coyotes go up by 1. It stayed a 2 or 3 point game either way for most of the second half. There were 17 lead changes in the game. Riper Rose the jumper late, and Denver wins it 91-84.
We had a big focus to go inside, but I want to give credit to my guards for getting the ball inside and being ready to let me know when they double and being ready to spot up when I'm getting doubled or whatever. And so, Morgan shot awesome from the field, so that was fun too.
All right, so here's how they sit after the opening weekend with the Jackrabbits on top. Denver, that was just their 3rd win overall this year, but they go to 1-0 to get things started. And we are back with Brad Newitt and some insight on the women's opening weekend after this.
Williams. Williams shoots, gets up, he scores. Tie game. We are going to bring the ball up court under pressure. Long pass inside to Montgomery. He spins. The shot is up, and it's a 20-foot jumper from the 5'11" sophomore forward.
Our heritage is rooted in the gymnasiums of every town, big and small, throughout the region. For this reason, Sanford Health proudly presents Heritage Court at the heart of the Pentagon.
Minutes east of Sioux Falls stands Grand Falls Casino Resort. A casino in a grand new way, where you can turn an evening into a winning night out. Spin a day off into a day of play. Who says life next door shouldn't be grand? Get tickets now for Nicholas David, former contestant on The Voice, performing January 18th at 8 p.m. Grand Falls Casino Resort, a grand new way to eat, play, and stay.
Inside the Summit League is brought to you by Sanford Health, Grand Falls Casino, and Dakota Land Honda. Welcome back to women's hoops, and Brad Newitt joins us again. And Newitt, let's talk about the women's opener here in the Summit League part of the schedule. Should we be surprised at Denver's win against South Dakota?
I think the manner that it came in, for sure. Denver scoring over 90 points, and two players score over 20. And USD's been a team that's been pretty solid defensively in their non-conference, but the wheels kind of came off on the defensive end for the Lady Coyotes in that game.
All right, is Western Illinois kind of sneaky good right now? They lead the league in assists and steals, and they lead the league in scoring right now at over 80 points a game.
I think the scoring has surprised a lot of people. They actually look having a great season so far, really putting the ball in the basket very efficiently, and they're a tough team to get shut down on their home floor.
All right, we saw IUPUI take on South Dakota State in Brookings. Your impression of IUPUI early on?
A very athletic team. That was a great game between two quality programs in Brookings. Got a little muddied up because both teams are so good defensively, but we saw what IUPUI did the next night up in Fargo and just blasted the Bison up there. And so they're a team that's going to be reckoned with throughout the year, no doubt about it.
All right, and then South Dakota State, the two-time defending regular season champions, they win in different ways in those two victories they did get, but how do they keep finding different ways to win all the time?
They're a team that has a lot of confidence. Even though they took some lumps in the non-conference because of the strength of schedule they play, that really does build confidence in their team. And when they're playing at home, they are a different team. They haven't lost in Frost Arena in this season, and that really showed this weekend.
All right, the Jacks do hit the road. Here's the schedule on the women's side this week. And Thursday, South Dakota State at Western Illinois. What's the game of the week on the women's side?
I think definitely that SDSU at Western Illinois, because you got a great team in Western Illinois that's playing with confidence, and then you got South Dakota State having to prove, can they win on the road? And that is something they have struggled with in their non-conference schedule this year.
All right, and South Dakota goes to IUPUI. Going to be another good test for the Coyotes, as they don't want to drop right away to 0-2 in Summit League play. But when we come back, our campus spotlight, we'll talk with South Dakota State guard Steph Pollock on why life is good for her at SDSU.
Minutes east of Sioux Falls stands Grand Falls Casino Resort. A casino in a grand new way, where you can turn an evening into a winning night out. It's the Grand Falls Casino Resort $500,000 giveaway. Yeah, $500,000 between now and March 30th. Play your favorite games to earn entries. Entries are good for all 13 drawings. Then be here for the Sunday afternoon drawings for your chance at $500,000. Grand Falls Casino Resort, a grand new way to eat, play, and stay.
This isn't an Epic Sports commercial.
There's no Hollywood director.
There's no $1 million budget.
There's no slow motion or stadiums filled with crowds.
It's just us.
Us.
Real athletes.
Real athletes.
Who want to get better, get stronger,
and make the starting lineup.
Be healthy and active.
And this is where we'll do it.
The Sanford Sports Complex, a game-changing destination. Learn more at sanfordsports.com.
Inside the Summit League is brought to you by Sanford Health, Grand Falls Casino, and Dakota Land Honda. Welcome back. We go to Brookings, South Dakota for this week's Campus Spotlight and hear from one of the brightest and funniest and most community-involved student athletes in the Summit League.
These people are crazy for SDSU. They love the Jackrabbits. I love South Dakota and just coming here, all the pride that comes with it. I'm Steph Pollock. I'm from Pierce, South Dakota. I play guard on the women's basketball team. Our fans, especially for women's basketball, you don't see fans like that. It's amazing. That's why, you choose SDSU. You get the fans, and they're loud, and they let you know when you're doing good, and they let you know when you're doing bad, but no matter how you're doing, they support you. Last year, I tore my ACL in the Summit League tournament, second round. Kind of a sideways layup, ugly-looking shot, but it went in. After tearing my ACL last year, I just knew that I wanted to come back stronger. I did all the rehab up here with our basketball trainer, David, and then our strength and conditioning coach, Eric. And just every day during the summer coming in and doing, strengthening exercises and quickness and agility. It's been long, it's been hard sitting out for all of this year, but it's definitely made me a better leader. I'm the president of the Student Athlete Advisory Committee. This year we did the food fight put on by the Summit League. It's our big conference fundraiser, and we won pretty handedly this year. We raised, I think, more than 23,000 pounds for the food pantry. The student athletes here work hard, and I think they just take pride in their academics. The professors are great, our coaches are great. It's just been unreal, the support that they have for you and how they want you to succeed, and they'll help you in any way that they can. That's my favorite part. We have engineers on our team, we have teachers, I'm in entrepreneurial studies. It's a lot of business and economics, and I'm doing a lot of sociology. I want to do social cause work, so I'm specializing in social entrepreneurism. But I just want to make a difference in the world and a community and hopefully in someone's life.
And our thanks to Steph and everybody at South Dakota State University. A reminder, we have live games, men's games this week with Western Illinois at South Dakota State on Thursday on Midco Sports Network and Fox College Sports. And we'll do it again on Saturday afternoon with South Dakota State hosting Omaha. See you next week on Inside the Summit League.